When I was in Japan, I'd only traveled within the country. Now that I was on my way back to the States, I thought I'd visit my next-door neighbors. I wasn't prepared for the culture shock I'd get being back in a Western country. Did it again. Survived another flight, and this one had some turbulence. We'll go ahead and censor that later. But here we are disembarking. Just on the runway, it's not an emergency. And lo and behold, I'm in Australia. I'm here having a bit of breakfast and coffee, and I'm already feeling the culture shock because I'm surrounded by a lot of large people in every sense of the world. Like I've got a lot of the overweight, and it's been told to me that Australia has the most overweight people in the world, in its country. But there's also like a lot of big freaking dudes, like rugby playing giant dudes, and they're here too. So it's pretty impressive just to get off the plane and like there's big people around here. Another thing was courtesy. Just a lot of people doing their thing and leaving messes, walking in front of people, swinging arms. Kind of annoying trying to get through the airport stuff in a way, but like, okay. So there was nowhere to sit at this cabin, so I asked this couple if I could, have this little corner of the table here. And they said, yeah. And they just kept talking, and I just ate my breakfast, and my coffee. But my coffee was really hot, so I took the lid off. So this guy that I was sharing the table with, he took a wrapper that he had, and for whatever reason, he meant to throw it on the table, but it bounced, landed in my lid. He never acknowledged it, he never said sorry, but he did grab my lid, try to knock it off into his empty cup of coffee, failed, and then just put my lid back, and then they just sat there. But he never looked at me, even when I asked to sit down, he never looked at me, and then they left. And then they left their mess, every other table around me left their mess. Whereas in Japan, it's rare where you're at a place where they tell you, leave your stuff, we'll pick it up for you. Usually it's everybody's out to help everybody because, there's always someone coming up behind you, Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I'm having a hard time understanding the English. There's another bit of culture shock. The vending machines. They have many, many more things to buy than in Japan. Many more caffeinated and sugary beverages. Well, I guess Japan has a lot of coffee, but no green tea, not so much the fruit juice. Big game. There's a tea. There's some kind of tea over here, Spring Valley. Lots of Gatorade, right on. Red Bull, whenever you want it. Not Red Bull. Oh, there's some juice. Okay. You can mix it with your Red Bull and it won't taste as bad. And, and food vending machines, which you don't really see much of in Japan, except the train stations, and they're all full of sweet buns and shit. Chips, crisps, burger rings. Nobby's pork crackle, cherry pie, picnic, booze, flake. Oh, it's great. There's M&M's again. Energy boosting dried fruit, crunchies, time out, Turkish delight, party mix. Nobby's is, this must be a Nobby's machine. Jelly babies. After a connecting flight from Gold Coast to Melbourne, I met my friend and host Jason Franks. He showed off beautiful Melbourne in its last months of summer. I also had the good fortune to join him for a meeting of local comic artists. Well, comic artists and writers. Always good to meet new comic people, and some of them I now call friends. That night, we got to hang out with fellow ex-Gaijin, Lady L, Layla Ali. We had a great time catching up, but we didn't make it a late night because the next day, we were getting used to running on little sleep as we caught a 6 a.m. flight to Sydney for the next day. I'd never been, and I didn't know when I'd be back. Jay just felt like going because, hey, it's a gorgeous city. It was a beautiful day. It had just rained and the sun had come out, and we were walking around looking for a breakfast spot. We found a nice outdoor joint where I could order my flat white and Jay could order his long black. On foot all the way, we saw some of the sights and walked our way over to Darling Harbour.
Darling Harbour, or as the Japanese call it, Daha. They have to shorten everything. Unlike the Australians that make everything cute, because then football becomes footy. And,
it's not cute, it's tough.
Oh, it's tough. Tough footy.
Footy.
Yeah. Tough footy.
Footy.
It sounds, hard, really, manly. Footy.
Footy.
You think that's cute? You think that's bloody cute? Behind me is the world famous Sydney Opera House,
which was built in 1957. Called a masterpiece of modern architecture, it's the pride of Australia, and it's a symbol of the country. This world-class performance center shimmers in the daytime and glows at night. Well, I have to say, it really feels like a vacation to be in a place, city with lots of culture and beautiful architecture and, dare I say, a lot of English. It's been pretty nice to just be able to talk to people and get your point across. But at the same time, honestly, it's hard to believe that I don't need to leave the house and have my Japanese arms. And I imagine I'm going to keep studying Japanese, even though I don't live there anymore. And Jason has been laughing at me recently because he'll see me about to bow. I want to say sumimasen to bring waiters over to me. Now I just have to sit and wait like everybody else. And let's see, I met his parents and I almost bowed. And height and sumimasen are on the tip of my tongue every time. And now I'm talking to myself into a camera like a true tourist. So let's enjoy Sydney and let's do shopping together, shall we? We continued to explore a little more, met some cute tourists, also from Melbourne, and went out for a few drinks. Of course, our favorite pub was the one across from the hotel, not the Bada Bing. Jay, I hear bagpipes. What does that mean?
Probably the best musical talent in my life is entertaining the football crowd.
Where are we headed today?
We're headed to the MCG, which is the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the largest stadium in Australia, to watch the Hawthorn Hawks versus the Geelong Cats in the Australian Football League.
That's Aussie rules football.
Footy.
Happy Easter.
Hey, oh, thank you. Safe back everything I said.
He's got talent.
I'm not a big sports fan, but I fell in love with footy. Aussie rules football looks like a combination of Australian football, soccer, and, yeah, to me, Quidditch. It's played in this giant round stadium with 22 players on each team, 18 of them on the field at a time. Obviously, the idea is to make points by getting the oversized football through the goal, but how it's done, that's what was cool to me. Players can move the ball around the field using any part of their body. You'll see them punt it between each other. They'll use their heads and chests to deflect or redirect the ball too. But it gets better. Like basketball, you can't carry the ball forever. Players can touch it to the ground, and you'll even see them dribble it just like a basketball. That's pretty amazing for an oblong ball. They also aren't allowed to throw it, but can kick it to other players, or by hand pass, where players sort of serve it like a volleyball, hitting it with their closed fist. The game is fast-paced and unrelenting. There's no timeouts every 5 minutes, or guys laying on the field crying about whatever, just laying there like they do in soccer. It's 4 quarters at 20 minutes each with a halftime, and that means 2 hours of solid action. It's really a shame that Australia hasn't shared their most popular sport with the rest of the world. Guys, hint, hint. I had a great time in Australia and I can't wait to go back. It's a lovely country with lovely people, even if I can't get a regular coffee with cream and sugar. I should tell you our adventure didn't end with footy.